Hi, and welcome to reInvent. We're here to talk to you today about sustainability and impact computing solutions built on AWS. I'm Alexis Fuge. I'm the Global Sustainability Business Development Manager for Amazon Web Services.
And I'm Erica Balbuena, the head of Global Impact Computing here at Amazon Web Services. Today, during our session, we're going to have an introduction. Then Alexis is going to talk to you about Amazon's sustainability goals and walk through a couple of use cases. Then I'm going to tell you all about impact computing and walk through some of our customer use cases, and then we'll talk about next steps. Let's get started. This Jeff Bezos quote is one of my all-time favorites because in it, he talks about empowering others to unleash their creativity and pursue their dreams, which is exactly what Alexis and I hope you take away from our session. And so while you listen to the customer use cases that we share with you today, I want to challenge you to think bigger than you've ever thought before. Because it's our job here at AWS to help you unlock the power of cloud computing to create more sustainability and more impact computing. And so what could you do on top of a platform where you have the greatest and best machine learning? And what could you do if you could spin up a 30,000 HPC cluster tomorrow? And if you're resource constrained, what could we enable you to do? As you listen to these customer stories, I want you to think about what problem we can help you solve, and then think even bigger.
Thanks, Erica. I also find that quote to be incredibly inspiring. To get started, I'm going to share Amazon's own sustainability goals with you, share insight into how we work for and with customers, and then share a few examples of customers who are building on AWS to advance sustainable practices. In September this year, Amazon announced the Climate Pledge, a commitment that we are leading with global optimism, a purpose-driven enterprise focused on social and environmental change. The Climate Pledge calls on signatories to be net zero carbon across their businesses by 2040, a decade ahead of the Paris Agreement's goal of 2050. To achieve the Climate Pledge, we are deploying our technology and people to achieve 100% net zero carbon across Amazon by 2040. We're also investing in wind and solar to reach 80% renewable energy across our global business operations by 2024 and achieve 100% renewable energy by 2030. We're continuing with our commitment to shipment zero, innovating to make all Amazon shipments net zero carbon, with 50% of all shipments net zero carbon by 2030. We're thinking big about sustainability at AWS and applying our culture of innovation to deliver on these ambitious goals. As with every big idea, every product, and every service, we started with our customers in mind and worked backward to define our goals. And that's because at Amazon, our mission is to be Earth's most customer-centric company. We start every conversation and idea session with our customer and work backward to identify how Amazon can improve their lives, reduce pain points, or provide access for them. We use this process across the company in every business and every team. As a data-driven practice, we know that sustainability and impact computing present challenges and opportunities for our customers. That's why we continually innovate and support our customers to develop solutions that address some of the biggest global challenges we face today at scale. Erica and I are excited to share some examples of how AWS customers are using our services and capabilities to do just that. Let's get started right here in the US. By the year 2050, our planet will need to feed 10 billion people. One of the solutions to growing more food is to make agriculture more productive and less resource dependent. The vast majority of food loss in many countries is actually from crops that die on the vine in one form or another, from pests, diseases, weeds, or poor nutrition in the soil. The Climate Corporation, a Bayer subsidiary, provides digital farming offerings that help resolve these challenges. The Climate Corporation enables farmers to keep their land healthy and fertile through automatic recording of data from tractors and satellite-enabled field health maps. The team is also working on an upcoming service called Field Catcher that enables farmers to use smartphone images to identify weeds, pests, and diseases. Field Catcher empowers farmers who don't have access to advice and enables all farmers to more efficiently capture and share field observations. FieldCatcher uses image recognition models trained with Amazon SageMaker and then optimizes them for mobile phones with Amazon SageMaker Neo. With this setup, the farmers are able to use the model and get instant results, even without internet access. This is an important functionality as many fields lack connectivity. The process starts with ingestion of images to Amazon Cognito, which protects uploads to the Amazon API Gateway and Amazon Simple Storage Service, or Amazon S3. The serverless architecture was chosen because it's more scalable and easier to maintain than any alternative, and it relies on AWS Lambda to execute its steps and finally move the received data into a data lake. Multiple AWS services work in concert to support the data lake. In addition to Amazon S3, for example, Amazon DynamoDB stores the metadata, including features of the image such as location or date, which are kept for important searchability later on. Amazon Elasticsearch Service, or Amazon ES, powers the indexing and querying of this metadata. AWS step functions are the final piece and used to support the full round trip of pre-processing images from the data lake, automated training of ML models, and finally inference. Currently, FieldCatcher is used internally in over 20 countries around the world. The next step is expanding what it can offer to farmers. Right now, its main use is for weed, disease, or pest detection. The Climate Corporation is exploring additional ML-powered solutions as broad as predicting harvest quality with images and drone-based crop protection on an individual plant level. Now let's head across the Atlantic to South Africa. 2018 saw the fourth year of drought and the worst in recorded history for the city of Cape Town, South Africa. Municipal water restrictions and augmentation plans alleviated the crisis until the rainfall returned to the city. But the city remains sensitive to water crises. The 2018 drought led to increased interest in monitoring water consumption more closely and getting the citizens of Cape Town in on the action. Apex Innovations developed the DROP consumer engagement app, which is built on AWS. Drop gives the consumer an hourly updated water usage indication and alerts the user to usage over the allowable self-set daily limit and/or any potential leaks that might be detected. This saves water and costs. It also allows the consumer to understand their consumption through usage profiling that identifies activities, machines, or systems that result in high consumption, all presented in an easy-to-understand way. Underpinning the app is an IoT platform which is based purely on AWS infrastructure using the latest technologies offered. The platform leverages serverless infrastructure to enable the company to scale up and scale down dynamically, ensuring high availability to the platform. Incoming messages from the sensors are sent to an AWS IoT topic configured for the sensor. Amazon Kinesis Data Firehose subscribes to the topic to send every message to Amazon S3 for long-term durable storage. When the message is received in Amazon S3, an S3 event triggers the AWS Lambda function to write a copy of the message into Amazon DynamoDB, where analysis and visualization is performed. After the raw message has been copied to Amazon DynamoDB, the message is archived in Amazon Glacier to reduce storage costs. Data from the IoT device is sent in JSON format for ease of use with the applications. The timestamp is important for downstream applications to collate the data into comprehensible time series data blocks. And the flow rate is calculating the volume of water flowing through the water flow sensor per minute. Finally, an hourly graph is available for leak detection, where a sudden spike in water usage over the last hour will alert the user to a potential leak. The user is notified of the high water usage with an SMS using Amazon SNS. All of this compute and analytics power puts water use awareness and management in the control of the consumer so they can make informed choices and act quickly to repair leaks. Let's turn now to distributed locations across the globe. EDF Renewables is a dedicated affiliate working on renewable energies, including wind, solar, and storage activities in over 20 countries worldwide. Their solar panels and wind turbine generators are equipped with sensors that collect data on power output, temperature, wind direction and speed, irradiance, and other environmental conditions. This streaming data totals more than 3 million tags coming from operational assets in 15 countries across 5 continents, and it's stored in an array of forms, including the OSI-soft-Pi system. To achieve an increase in stability and visibility, EDFR decided to push the data contained in their data lakes to a centralized storage framework. AWS engaged an APN Premier consulting partner, 47 Linings. 47 Linings built the AWS Industrial Time Series Connector Quick Start, essentially a data bridge, that connects OSI soft-Pi system industrial time series data to AWS. The connection was established and the system was functional in 12 weeks. An aggressive timeline, but achievable due to the close alignment between 47 Lining, EDFR, and AWS. EDFR's industrial process data lake on AWS leverages Amazon S3 as a central repository for all the sensor data coming from their wind turbines and solar panels. This gives them scalable, reliable storage infrastructure that can handle heterogeneous data with ease. And to move the data from their highly geographically distributed assets into this environment, they leverage Amazon Kinesis data streams in a steady state. Amazon Redshift is also used as an enterprise data warehouse to complement their Amazon S3-based data lake. With their data now centralized and connected, EDFR is able to conduct real-time analytics of their performance of these widely distributed assets quickly and accurately. And as generators of over 22 terawatt hours of renewable energy, that's 22 million megawatt hours, EDFR has the ability to scale the proportion of the electricity grid that is generated by clean energy sources. These are but a few examples of our customers who are using AWS services to unlock their business solutions that contribute to the health of our planet. There are many more, and if you think you're among them, we encourage you to talk with your internal teams, including your sustainability team or the teams that have any hand in optimizing your operations. Bring those teams together and then dive deep into your data. Understand what you have, what you need, what bridges or tools you might need to improve performance, insights, or impacts. Use your sustainability strategy as your North Star. And then we advise using Amazon's working backward process to dissect and plan how you want to map to achieve your North Star. Then evaluate and use technology as an accelerator. AWS has over 165 services to support your technology needs, and you can work with your AWS account team. Engage them from the beginning. We want to help you achieve your goals. The earlier we can begin to work with you, the more we can help you accomplish. Erica will now share some examples of customers using AWS's compute services for global impact.
Thanks, Alexis. And now I'd like to tell you about impact computing. Impact computing enables our customers to solve the most pressing global challenges at scale with AWS. These are challenges like curing disease, or mapping the world's water supply, or giving the unbanked financial access. And I joined AWS to build this business because the pace of innovation and change in cloud technology should be put into the hands of everyone, but especially those solving big, hard global challenges. And so we are a team focused on empowering the world's leading organizations with AWS to drive faster solutions. We work across the commercial and the public sector to support these AWS use cases that lead to breakthroughs. So that same near limitless compute capacity that Netflix or Lyft or NASDAQ has at their fingertips can be turned on for each one of you to drive faster outcomes. We can apply it to a lot of problems that each of one of your organizations is tackling. And my job is to help you, our customers, unlock that power. So I'm going to take you on a journey today to 3 different customers. The first, we're going to travel high up in space and talk about MaxR. Using geospatial data can help us have a better understanding of our planet, monitor resources, and view hard-to-reach places, and respond to disasters. Government officials struggle with visibility into illegal fishing operations around the world. They lack the data to disrupt these criminal networks that not only harm local economies and ecosystems, but sometimes involve the use of slave labor. A few years ago, an Associated Press reporter was working to identify fishing boats that relied on slave labor and turned to MaxR satellite imagery. Within 24 hours, they were able to identify a clear image of 2 slave boats tied to a cargo ship in the South Pacific. This high-resolution imagery led to arrests, the unraveling of a slave operation, and 2,000 people being reunited with their families. MaxR is one of the world's leading providers of high-resolution Earth imagery, data, and analysis. By giving their customers the power to see the Earth clearly and in new ways, they enable them to pinpoint problems rapidly and clearly. To deliver on this, they need the ability to deliver 80 petabytes of data a day, not months, and save money doing it so that their customers have access to global images as fast as possible. That's like moving 80 million filing cabinets in a day from one office to another. AWS Snowmobile and AWS Ground Station help make this possible. And the impact of this geospatial data goes beyond identifying boats in the middle of the ocean. The images they capture help determine remote population centers in Ethiopia, Sudan, and Swaziland to support NGOs and governments' understanding of where and how vaccines should be distributed. And when natural disasters strike, like Cyclone Idai in Mozambique, they are able to provide first responders with accurate pre- and post-event images to allow them to properly respond. Last year alone, they provided satellite imagery for 17 events, allowing humanitarian organizations to respond more accurately. Now let's travel over to South Africa. 1 million animal species are at risk of extinction, and as many of us know, our survival is in direct correlation to the planet's biodiversity. South Africa is home to some of the most diverse ecosystems on the planet, and they live on the savanna. To help save this ecosystem, Africam was founded to bring wildlife from the savanna into your living room. Africam provides free 24-hour live streams from 6 permanent remote water holes in game preserves across the country. But they just didn't want to do that. They wanted to take it one step further. And so they turned to AWS's recognition technology to identify animals and keep track of them. They can identify a particular song that a bird makes, specific spots on a giraffe, or even a rhino at a watering hole. For example, thousands of people tuned in to watch the story of a baby rhino left for dead after its mothers were killed by poachers. And its story was broadcast on Africam and was able to raise some 200,000 South African rand to help her, the equivalent of 13,000 US dollars. But Africam's goal is not only that this data creates a platform for organizations who can't be out in the wild 24/7. AWS recognition actually helps them predict nighttime animal behavior to help with anti-poaching, which will be especially helpful during times of drought. So if you are someone looking to gain more insights out of your video or images, we have the broadest and deepest set of ML services for you. Or if you're looking to gain connectivity in hard-to-reach remote areas, we can also help you build that. Now let's talk more about that with our last stop in the Philippines. By the year 2050, the world must feed 9 billion people. Rice is a staple food source and accounts for over 20% of all calories per capita. To keep up, we must increase rice crop yields by 25% in the next 10 years. We need to ensure the viability and strength of the rice genome for it to be able to withstand the effects of climate change and drought. Founded in 1960 and located in the Philippines, the International Rice Research Institute, or IRRI, develops rice varieties that can withstand drought, flooding, disease, and other potentially damaging events. A few years ago, they led an international effort to sequence over 3,000 varieties of rice from 89 different countries. Leveraging AWS, they sourced data across 37,000 compute cores in 2 days, which was 200 times faster than that would have been possible on their local computing infrastructure. And so now IRRI can focus on developing rice varieties that are climate smart and have the ability to adapt to different environmental conditions. So if you have a challenge with computing large amounts of data, either at one time or at multiple times, we have quick starts and architectures to help you process that. Now let's talk a little bit more about how we can work with you. Whether you are looking to move from your on-prem data center into the cloud, you have large amounts of data that you want to gain greater insight from, or you want to take advantage of our machine learning services, we can help you by serving as a center of gravity within AWS. Impact computing works with customers in three main ways. First, scaling our AWS workloads. Through our work with a diverse array of commercial, startup, and public sector customers, we have expertise on the deep technologies that come together to solve complex global problems. We will work with you to develop AWS architecture that leads to the breakthroughs and solutions you're seeking. The second way is that we engage business and technical teams. So whether you need an expert in a particular AWS service, or you want to learn more about Amazon's own innovation engine, or you're building a proof of concept, we bring the business and technical know-how to your meaningful work. The third way we work with you is to elevate your work and impact. Businesses across Amazon are invested in driving global solutions, and we will elevate your work to the relevant teams to accelerate your impact and increase your visibility.
We hope that the innovative solutions that were discussed today inspire you to think big about how you can use AWS services and capabilities to advance your sustainability and impact solutions.
Your success is of the utmost importance to us, and we know that seconds and minutes mean the difference between good work and great work. At AWS, we want to enable your success. We look forward to working with you and your account teams.
Thank you for joining us today.